Hey everybody, I'm Mike Maier from Maier Incorporated, and today I'm going to try to give you guys a few tech tips about how to find out what master cylinder might be best for you and how to get to that end game of getting the perfect brake pedal. Well, here we go. A couple of things you need to know. Master cylinders come in all sorts of sizes, all sorts of bores, and that's the piston inside. They make them bigger and smaller for different reasons. The larger the piston is, generally the less pressure you have. Pressure to the brake line. So the larger the piston you have, the less brake pressure you'll get at the caliper. The smaller the master cylinder piston, the more line pressure you'll get. And this has a major effect on your system. Let's talk about that. So the diameter will equal your feel, it'll equal your pressure, and it'll equal your clamping force. What this means to you is if you have too big of a master cylinder bore, the pedal will be rock hard. You'll be like, oh man, I got a solid pedal. But what you'll notice is when you step on the brakes, it'll be hard, and it'll give you that old school feel of like, oh man, your brake pedal's really hard, especially on manual systems. It'll be really hard. And if you really pull hard on the back of the steering wheel and on a push on the pedal, all of a sudden out of nowhere, you'll see the brakes lock up. It'll surprise you if you can get them to lock up. A small bore, your pedal will have a real long throw, and sometimes you can get the pedal down by the carpet. It's a little squirrely. Sure, the car will stop, but there's a certain distance that your rear end is comfortable with. You want to have a confident distance that pedal travels, and you want to feel good. Also, the diameter will complement the caliper size and the volume that we're displacing here. So there's a few things that we gotta make sure that when we choose our diameter, we understand that too big is gonna make it too stiff, too small is gonna make it too soft. We wanna make sure we have the smallest as we can deal with to get the most line pressure so we can get more clamping force at the caliper. However, if you look over here, you got to understand that manual brake systems are different than power brake systems. I get a lot of guys piggybacking power systems onto manual pedals, and then their brake pedals don't feel right. The way the factories have figured it out, and it takes a lot of time to figure this, is a power system will have generally a 2 to 3 to 1-ish pedal ratio. It's not a rule. I'm not a brake engineer. I'm just passing on old school information. So with a power system, you're going to have a larger master cylinder on average than a manual system because you're going to have less leverage, but you're going to have the multiplication from the booster between these 2 points. A manual system, you have no booster. Their version of boost is leverage. They'll make the pedal longer, if you will, and pull the master up closer to the fulcrum. And what this will do is it'll give you more leverage against that. And then what you can do is downsize the master so you can get good feel, but you'll also get really good line pressure this way. You just got to figure out what the combination is for you. What makes up that combination is what I call the dirty feel. It's not necessarily, you can run calculations, you can call companies up, and they'll say, give me your calculation. Oh, you'll give them the wheel diameter, you'll give them the rotor diameter, you'll give them the pedal length, you'll give them the line diameter, you'll give them all sorts of different numbers, and they'll give you a value. They'll say, oh, well, you should run this, 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 and this. You put it in your car, and it sucks. Like, dude, I did what big company X said. Well, what they can't tell you in the calculation is you've got X amount of firewall flex. You've got your front hub movement. You go around a turn, the hubs move, they push the pads back away. You step on the brakes, the pedal goes down. Oh God, you lift up, you step on it again, you go, oh wait, there's my pedal. I must have air in the lines. Not so much. It's pad knockback. Pad knockback comes from axle movement and hub movement. This here can, what I call, dirty up your sensories. You think that you're feeling air, you think you're feeling this or that, when really maybe the math is right. They gave you the right master cylinder bore size, but they can't sit there and give you the firewall flex calculation or the hub movement calculation or the axle movement. So we might find ourselves sizing a master cylinder unbeknownst to us to these dirty concepts here. Now the next thing is pad material. If you have the wrong pad material, something that's not very grabby, you might sit there and go, geez man, I'm really standing on the brakes and nothing's happening. Where you can change the pad material with a little more initial bite for a manual system, all of a sudden you step on the brakes with half the effort and your eyeballs are getting pulled out of your head. And vice versa for a power system. If you've got a power system and you're stepping on the brakes and oh my God, your eyeballs are getting ripped out of your head and there's no modulation, just get next to air next to the pedal, holy crud, this thing's stopping. You might think, oh, I need to change a master cylinder. It's giving way too much pressure. Well, it's the bite in the pad that can dirty up what you think you're feeling in your master cylinder. Things that can, the pedal ratio is another one, like we touched on earlier. If you're sitting there trying to put a piggyback power system on a manual pedal, you might have some dirty going on there that you need to figure out. It's kind of one or the other. If you're going to use a power system, make sure you have the power system, not a mix match, and that's going to create some havoc in your life. Things that can help. Buy a master cylinder with options. Understand, if you've got an old school, you're going to sit there and you're going to buy a car with 50 years of history. Billy Bob or Joe or John Boy or whatever did something in 1972 with his cousin up against a tree with a ratchet to that car. We don't know about it. So not really knowing what we're getting into with these old schools, you want to make sure every time you buy something that's got latitude. So I always like buying Willwoods because I'm dealing with customers. I'm dealing with everybody's history, and sometimes the customer doesn't even know what that car's history is. So we need to set ourselves up to succeed. Willwood offers all sorts of different master cylinder bore sizes. So based on each customer's brakes, each customer's subject, we can size the master cylinder, and sometimes we don't hit the mark perfectly the first shot. But we need, if we're going to make a backup plan to it, we can pull this one out and put another one in exact same size in its place. It's a quick and seamless transition to get the right sizing for that guy's car. Mass pad compounds. And lastly, understand your car. Understand it. You don't know, for the most part, everything there is to know about it. There's a lot of operating systems in it. You think about all the guys in Ford or Chevrolet or whoever, the engineers to create that car. It took thousands of people to make that car. And here we're going to jump into it in our garage and nail it the first shot. We're going to learn. We're going to go through the process. Big thing is make sure you have something with options. Make sure that you be attentive to these. You're going to grow into these. You're going to learn. And that's what we try to do. When you call us up to buy your brake kit, we'll try to interview you, get as much of this information as possible, and get you dialed in the first time. Thanks for watching. It's Mike Maier Inc. Take a look at us wherever you can on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, our website, MikeMeierInc.com. We'll catch you in the future.